Strange creatures have been appearing on camera for decades, in photos, on security footage, caught by hikers in the middle of nowhere. Today, we're investigating the most famous cryptids ever captured and deciding for ourselves what's real. Mothman. A place called Point Pleasant might not sound particularly scary, but this West Virginia city is home to a very unpleasant creature, the Mothman. This cryptid is a 7-foot-tall, flying humanoid with glowing red eyes and a reputation as a harbinger of doom. Since the first reported sighting in 1966, the Mothman has appeared multiple times, his visits coinciding with disappearing pets, and, most notably, the collapse of Point Pleasant's largest bridge, an event that killed 46 people. For decades, every sighting relied on eyewitness accounts alone, until 2016, when a local resident snapped some surprisingly clear photos allegedly showing the cryptid. The internet exploded. Skeptics weren't far behind, suggesting the image actually shows an owl carrying a snake in its talons. Surprisingly convincing, if you ask me. And this isn't the first time a Mothman sighting has had feathers. Some researchers believe the original 1966 encounters were misidentified barred owls, not 7 feet tall, sure, but nocturnal birds whose eyes reflect light into an eerie red glow. Point Pleasant, however, isn't giving up its favorite monster. The town still has statues, gift shops, and an annual festival in Mothman's honor. Owl or omen, the legend lives on. Fresno Nightcrawlers. Take a look at this footage, and you'll see something stranger than your average cryptid, a pair of disembodied pants going for a stroll. This oddity was caught on a home security camera in Fresno, California, back in 2007, and it didn't stay local for long. 2 more Nightcrawlers turned up on surveillance footage in Yosemite National Park in 2011, prompting a wave of alien and demon theories online. As the clips went viral, skeptics started digging too. YouTuber Captain Disillusion broke down the footage in detail, pointing out that the low resolution would make faking this trivially easy, whether with basic CGI or just someone walking around in an oversized pair of pants. And then there's the kicker. The owner of the original tape claims he accidentally erased the high-quality version, making verification impossible. Convenient. The story gets even thinner when you consider that no Nightcrawler sightings have been reported before 2007 or since the Yosemite clips, a pretty quiet track record for an allegedly real creature. 2 appearances, no follow-up, and a mysteriously missing original tape. This one looks a lot less like a cryptid and a lot more like a very committed hoax. But who knows? The Lagarfljót Worm. Deep in Iceland's Lagarfljót Lake, a legendary serpent is said to lurk beneath the surface. The Lagarfljót Worm has been the subject of sightings since 1345, and in 2012, the creature was supposedly caught on camera. The footage went viral quickly, enough that the local government convened an actual commission to determine whether it was real. Skeptics proposed the object in the video was simply a frozen fishing line being dragged by the current. But after reviewing the footage and surrounding evidence, the commission concluded there was no reason to doubt that some kind of giant creature lived in the lake. Before you cancel your swimming plans, though real doesn't necessarily mean monster. Animals really can reach enormous sizes in deep water. The oarfish, for instance, has been mistaken for a sea serpent more than once, thanks to its bizarre length and shape. Oarfish only live in the ocean, but something similarly large and serpentine could be living in Lagarfljót, like this giant lake sturgeon pulled from Canada's Fraser River in 2022, which from a distance could easily pass for a sea monster, legendary worm, or very large fish. Either way, that lake is staying off my swimming list. If you think you know what it is, let us know in the comments. Bigfoot. Let's move on to the most famous cryptid of all, Bigfoot. This giant, bipedal ape is said to roam the woodlands of North America, but no sighting is more iconic than the Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967, shot by 2 hikers in Northern California. The footage shows an ape-like creature striding on 2 legs, and it's arguably the most famous cryptid sighting ever captured, parroted in movies and printed on t-shirts ever since. The 2 men behind the camera have stuck to their story for nearly 60 years, but modern enhancement tools have given us a much clearer look, and to me, at least, enhanced Bigfoot looks a lot like a guy with bad posture in a gorilla suit. Beyond the footage, there's a deeper problem. If Bigfoot exists, its population would need to number in the thousands just to avoid inbreeding and extinction. That many large primates wandering North America's forests would produce far more sightings, far more physical evidence, and probably at least 1 clear photo by now. Bears, escaped exotics, or guys in costumes. The math just doesn't add up. But Bigfoot remains one of the best excuses ever invented for a weekend in the woods. The Skunk Ape. One of Bigfoot's regional cousins is the skunk ape, a giant, foul-smelling Sasquatch said to roam the swamps and forests of the American South. Sightings date back to 1957, and one of the most compelling pieces of evidence is this photo, sent to Florida's Sarasota County Sheriff's Office in 2000 along with a letter claiming the creature had climbed onto the sender's back deck. The image is undeniably creepy. Some skeptics suggest it's simply an escaped orangutan, but orangutans have reddish fur, and the creature in the photo doesn't. So unless the lighting is playing tricks, that theory doesn't quite hold. Fakery is always possible, but this remains one of the more convincing pieces of skunk ape evidence out there. A second alleged sighting appeared on YouTube in 2013, filmed by Josh Highcliffe in a wooded area west of Tunica, Mississippi. The footage shows a large, Bigfoot-style creature tearing bark off a tree, behavior some skeptics attribute to bears reaching for tree sap underneath. But once the creature stands upright in the clip, the bear theory gets a lot harder to defend. Real skunk ape or a very committed performance? The swamp isn't telling. Chupacabras. The chupacabras is a cryptid reported across Texas and Mexico, a predator said to drain livestock of their blood. In Texas, it's described as a large, spike-spined dog. In Mexico, something more like an alien lizard. Photos allegedly showing the creature are genuinely unsettling, but in almost every case, these so-called chupacabras turn out to be dogs or coyotes suffering from mange, a disease that causes hair loss and shriveled, leathery skin. So most sightings are sick animals, not monsters. But what about footage like this, allegedly showing a chupacabra stalking through the Navajo Nation? Whatever's in that clip definitely isn't a mangy coyote, but between the inconsistent lighting, mismatched shadows, and distinctly video game look, it's pretty clearly CGI layered onto real footage. Most chupacabras sightings fall apart under scrutiny like this, but it doesn't change the fact that livestock in these regions really have turned up appearing drained of blood. The explanation is a process called lividity. After death, blood stops circulating and pools in the lowest parts of the body, leaving the upper half looking completely bloodless. Mystery solved, mostly, but somewhere out in that desert, the legend isn't quite dead yet. Some questions don't have clean answers. Maybe there's a rational explanation for all of them, or maybe something is still out there, just out of frame. Either way, we'll keep investigating. Subscribe to Myth Facts, and we'll see you in the next mystery.